Hey planner nerds. So during our April monthly reset, we didn't reset. We chatted, which is fine. We need to do that sometimes, but I need to do my April reset. I needed to do it. I already did it, but I'm going to show you how I did it because some of you are wanting to know, Renee, how do you do your thing? Here's how I do my thing. We're going to take a look at March, and then we'll go over to April to look at a blank spread. All right. So I start out with this spread, which is just the name of the month here because, you know, you have to have the name of the month, and then a little calendar on the right side. And this is usually empty, and during the month, I'll write down things that I need to do next month. But this is just notes of the different kind of planners that you guys said you used on during the plan with me that I wanted to check out. That's it. Pretty basic, right? Okay. And then the next page on for March, I did a master task list of all. It's like a brain dump. All the things I really wanted to get done, and I know I'm not going to get most of them done, but I can migrate these over to the next month, whatever I don't get done, right? So that was all of that, and then I can schedule these during the month. I have this is a habit tracker key for me. I had 5 of them. You don't need to know what all of them are, but I mean, it's basic stuff. Like I wanted to read for, like 10 minutes a day, draw for 10 minutes a day, and log all my food. Yeah, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. I didn't do any of this. I'm terrible with habit trackers, but that's why I put it in here to remind me I really want to track my habits. Whether I do or not, that's, you know, remains to be seen, but here they are so that I can remember. The next page is what do you call it? A linear calendar. The days of the month, 1 through 31, the day of the week next to that. And in this column here, I write down significant things that happened that day that I want to remember. And if nothing happens, I usually just write down something that I'm thankful for. This was the first month that I've been doing this intentionally, and so I didn't get everything, but it's stuff like, you know, okay, well, there's payday. On the 8th, I closed down my shop for physical items because I needed to help Scott out. And now I have 2 jobs, 2 part-time jobs. Now, so basically I have 2 full-time jobs now. It's awesome. I have no time. Live at 11 on YouTube, the YouTube giveaway. This is the day Scott installed a big bronze statue at the local hospital. It was really cool to watch. I had coffee with Doug, and Scott had his surgery on the 12th. That's just, I mean, it doesn't have to be like life-altering things. It's just something, you know, things you want to remember. Coffee with Shag Nasty and Scott. Scott came back to the studio because he was gone for a week. That was significant to me because I was going bonkers. On the next page, I have my personal and my Budget Nerd Company tasks that I have to get done. These are like almost mandatories unless something comes up. So I wrote all this before Scott decided to go, you know, have 3 surgeries on his, one on his wrist, his elbow, and his shoulder all on the same day. So nothing got done. And that's fine because I can move it over. Some of it did. Hey, that got done. That got done. And this is what my monthly review is for. And I did half of that. And I did that. But it didn't stick. Didn't do that. Didn't do that. Okay. But nothing for the shop got done. Just because I didn't get to work in the shop all month. And then the next page starts my dailies. And basically this is what it's going to look like. I've got it split into 3. So I get 3 days to a page. And I do, look at all the migration. Oh my gosh. I didn't get anything. I was still learning. And you have to give yourself a little bit of grace when you're learning how to do your system and when you don't get things done, especially with ADHD. 90% of what I write down isn't going to get done, and I know that, but I forget that. because my brain lies to me constantly and tells me I can do all the things, and I can't. And I also have time blindness. I don't, I don't, I, how do you say it? I don't know how, I don't realize how long things are going to take to do. And so I always overbook myself. And so that's what one of my intentions, one of my whys for doing this. Because if you don't know why you're doing your planner, then it's not going to work. You got to have an intention, a purpose for doing all this. So one of my intentions is to help me regulate my time. I can get to work on time, I can get to events on time, but it's everything else that I've always had trouble figuring out. So that's what I do on my days. I do my, where did that come from? The first thing I do is put all my tasks down, and then throughout the day when things come up, I use this during the day. This goes with me everywhere I go. It's part wallet, part planner, and then I have it set up just like my bullet journal. I've got an index, but then I've got, each day, and it's a lot of double writing, but that helps my brain remember things. But it's the same thing. And I write down notes during the day, or I have a minute, so I'll doodle, or I write down all my spending. I'll do a practice budget. This is like my catch-all notebook, a commonplace notebook. And then I took some notes for the Plan With Me video, and then I changed things up and I put on this side of the paper, so this is the next week. I've got my tasks, all the things I want to do, and then I have my daily reflections on the other side of the page. And there's a video that I watched where she explains it much better than I did, and I'll link that down below. I can't remember. Her name starts with a J. Joshi Corin. I'm probably murdering it, but she's really cool. She has a lot of really pretty planner things, and it's fun to watch. It's not for me, but I like watching her. She has a lot of good information on there. So in the morning, I get up and I look at my previous day and my unfinished tasks, and I think about, what happened and why I didn't get them done. And it's more of like a passive reflection. I'm just writing things down. And then at night, I go through in a little bit more detail, and I clean up all my daily entries, and it's a process. Go watch her video. But that's it. And I've got different things. I have a weekly reflection where I take all my tasks and write them down in my leftovers, and then I write down all the tasks that are on deck, things I need to do the next week, and then I schedule it or refer to it. But that's it. And then you have collections. Like, here's a collection I did on field notes because I want to do a video on all my small notebooks, and I love Aaron Draplin. I love him. And so I wanted to get some stuff down. These are some of the logos that he did that I liked, and so I just drew them out. And then I have notes for, like, I had ChatGPT do a 3-day keto meal plan for me, and did some ChatGPT learning on how to ask questions and get the best results from it. And this is right in the middle of all my dailies. But what you do is you go to your index and you just put it in here. So I can go here and, there's my 72 through 74 is my 3-day chat GPT, but my March is 58 through 64 and 70 through 75 and 77. So you just keep doing commas, but you got to make sure that your index is really important. I'm a terrible explainer. I'm really sorry, but I hope you're understanding. So let's look at April, because I haven't done my... And some days I have two things. And my whole daily reflection is, it was a long, busy day. And that's okay. And then you have other weeks like this week, this last week. I don't know what happened, but I didn't log anything. I was so busy. Oh, so busy I couldn't even open my planner. I was so tired. But then I jumped right back on it the next day, and like this day I only had 2 tasks, and my daily reflection was saying that, man, it feels so much better when I don't have a lot of tasks and I get to cross everything off. And maybe I need to think about that. And then my monthly reset is ready to do after I get off of this. And this was notes from the plan with me. So now we're into April, and I've got it set up almost the exact same way. I think I flipped a couple of things, but here's the month, because you got to have the month down, right? And the calendar that my brain understands. And then I've got my linear calendar, getting ready for my gratitude and my significant events. Here's my habit tracker again. Even though I didn't do it last month, this reminds me that, yeah, I want to do a habit tracker. I want to track these things. They're important to me. And then I've got my brain dump / master task list. One side for personal, one side for Budget Nerd Company. And then I start my dailies. And here's my reflections. And that's it. That's all I have in here. That's it. There's nothing else. And so as things come up, they go in here. If you're starting a new notebook, I highly suggest on your last page, take all of your materials that you might want to use and do a pen check. So you see here, I've got the flare tips, the Sharpies, the Tombos, the Lamy fountain pen, which I saw. It does smear, so I have to be careful with it. But I've got this pen here that I use. This is the Energel needle tip by Pentel, and it does not smear in my field notes, but it smears in here. And it writes really dark. I love this pen. I wish it didn't smear in here. But I love my fountain pen too, because it makes me feel precious. And then you can look on the back and you can see what's going to ghost through. And on this bullet journal paper, I think it's 120 GSM. It might... Yeah, because the Sharpie, you can kind of see it, but the my Zaire came through. The Tombow, even as dark as that is, it did not, you can't see it. It's not going to ghost through. Most every pen works on this paper. And it's a Electrum 1917, which you can buy anywhere. This just has the bullet journal logo on it. That's it. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. But I suggest if you're just starting out, just keep it really simple. Watch some videos on the bullet journal method. Matt Ragland is really good. He gets a little carried away with his acronyms, but he does a minimal, and you can search minimal bullet journal setup, and that'll bring you some stuff. But just make sure you do your index and your future log, and you just keep it simple. You know, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. When you start getting into all the art, you're going to hate it. You might hate it because it's a lot of setup. Keep your spreads really simple. And as you develop your habits, you can do the more elaborate spreads with all the art and such. But that's it. April's here already. Second quarter starting now. Boom. Okay. Love you. Bye.